parents who don't get it right. I believe that the number one challenge in parenting has nothing to do with the child. And in today's video, I'd like to share a little bit about the relief parents feel when they hear about the solution. My name is Annette, and I encourage you to embrace boundaries with your strong-willed and empathy-filled child so you can cherish a bond for life. In my parenting training this week, I asked a group of parents what would the dream parent be like? And here is what they shared. So they said that the dream parent is always calm, is less demanding, is respectful, confident, is open, is trusting, and role models to their child what they want from them. And then I asked them, what is the typical parent like, and what do we see in reality? This is what parents shared of what a typical parent is like. So they said they get stressed, they question themselves, they're tired a lot, they are yelling, they're busy, they're arguing, they are just diagnosed with ADHD. And one thing that stood out for me was that they are very, very hard on themselves. It's an experiential activity taken from positive discipline. I asked the parents how they felt about their own parenting after this activity. The number one feedback was when one of the parents was writing these statements and others around were sharing that there was a lot of agreeing, and what a relief that was for others to hear. So I've been working with parents for almost a decade, and this is the biggest relief when parents who believe that they have to get it right all the time because they have these pictures in their imagination that they compare themselves to, or in recent years they compare themselves to what they see on social media. My observation is that parents are just so self-critical. And this point of being really hard on yourself, I would like to share a personal anecdote from my life. I got my driver's license when I was 18 back in Germany, and I came to Ireland when I was 19 a year later. And my whole life had struggled a bit with spatial awareness, and it wasn't getting any better. And especially when I found myself on footpaths and on staircases, I kept bumping into people, and it felt so frustrating. So I asked myself, what is it I'm missing, and what are the others getting that I don't? And that's a very old belief. I already felt or thought that in school lots when I was younger. I often struggled with the learning, and I was really sensitive, and I had so much going on, and I took in way too much. Almost a decade later, I was at work, and I just came back from lunch together with my colleague, and we were in front of that staircase, and I asked, will we go up this way or this way, left or right? And he said to me, we're in Ireland, so it's the left. And in that moment, I felt this absolute wave of embarrassment and shame come all over me. And I just wanted I wanted the ground to open up so I could jump into it. And I thought to myself, how did I miss that? After almost a whole decade in this country, how did I never put two and two together? And I've shared this with friends whom I trust. You're the first person I'm sharing this outside my circle. And I'd love to hear, is there something like this that has come up for you where you go, everyone gets it but me? So it didn't occur to me that instead of blaming myself, there was just a piece of information that my brain was missing. Of course, I had heard in school that in the UK, in Ireland, and in other countries, you drive on the left-hand side. And I've never extended it to a whole way of life. So in the months and years that followed, I trained my brain to be aware where I'm walking. And of course, learning that new skill, which it was for me, it takes time. And I fell back into my old patterns. And sometimes I did bump into people. But once that awareness was there, I could never unknow that fact of life, so important here. So how I relate this back to parenting is that most parents that I know of or I work with have heard of a very firm style of parenting, also referred to as authoritarian parenting, where let's say the child needs to come off the screen or the phone and the parent says, put that phone down. Or the other extreme, which is the very kind or permissive style, where the parent might say, I can't believe you're not putting that phone down after everything I've done for you, and you had promised to stop being on your screen. In both these approaches, where we want the child's cooperation, there is a power over going on. In the first one, the firm one, the parent has power over the child. And in the second one, the dynamic swaps and the child has power over the parent. So like in my own scenario where I didn't even think that there was a solution until I, by accident, asked the question, it is very similar with parents. We can't really think that there is a solution, that there could be a power with approach where I am kind because I'm respecting my child, and I'm being firm because I'm respecting myself and the needs for the situation. Together with my parenting community called Effortless Flow, we meet once a month virtually, and we explore and discuss, the hot topics of the month. And a lot of the time that is something to do with screens and how we can approach this as a parent. And together with my group of parents, we created a guide for real life scenarios where we embrace these boundaries with kindness for our children. And I'm going to put the link below where you can click and put in your email and download that guide for you. It's for free. So the way I see this community is that we're all learner parents, and as much as we wish we could be this dream parent all the time, the more realistic way of parenting is that we fall back to our old patterns, and then it's about practicing these new skills that we're learning. And in my own example, I have now made a game out of this. So I live here in Ireland, near one of the very big sightseeing places, and there's people coming from all over the world, and I need to often walk on the footpath that they take to that site. And I play a game with myself where I kind of guess, why maybe I hear their accent, or I see where they might be from, what continent. And then I quickly adjust my walk and I walk either left or right, because oftentimes until you maybe start bumping into someone and then you make the connection, it's not an automatic thing that you're a tourist and you walk on the right side of the road. So this is all about not having to get it right, but to remember that our children need continuous encouragement, just like a plant needs water, and so do you. And in the video I'm going to leave up there, you can watch a more detailed approach on how this firm and kind works, especially when it comes to screens.